My followers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. It isn't over until the fat lady sings. And next Tuesday, Dick Advocate and Curacao are chasing double history in the most monumental match of their nation's lifetime. Meanwhile, the Reggae Boys, led by Steve McLaren, have made it brutal for themselves. With their backs against the wall, it's simple. Only a win can automatically punch their ticket to the FIFA 2026 Men's World Cup. But before we look ahead to what will be a thrilling finale, let's rewind and discuss last night's gritty 1-all draw against Trinidad and Tobago. I'm sure some of you have kept your eyes on my platform, particularly YouTube, so you would have seen me upload Steve McLaren's press conference. That's the post-match press conference from last night's draw. So to bring us on the same speed, what I'm going to do, since we've already digested Steve McLaren's presser, I'm going to go ahead and give a listen to Dwight York's press conference, because I've not managed to listen to it yet. So I figured while I'm doing the show, I might as well go ahead and sit and give it a listen with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to Dwight York's press conference. If you haven't managed to listen to Steve McLaren's presser, do let me know in the comment section and I'll give that a play before giving my thoughts on yesterday's 1-all draw against our biggest Caribbean rivals, where the men's side of football is concerned. I've already said, when it comes to the men's side, for the Reggae Boys, the biggest Caribbean rivals for me is Trinidad and Tobago. For the women's, I think it's safe to say that it's Haiti. But do let me know if you disagree with that in the comment section. Did I get somewhat? Let's just say I'm running on E at the moment, right? But I'm sure I'll be able to get through tonight's live stream with you guys, okay? So let's just stick a pin in it. Let's go ahead and dive right into the press conference there for Dwight York. And I've given that man so many praises. I think I'm going to be doing more of the same tonight. I'm not going to lie to you. But before I do that, let's just go ahead and listen to his press conference. All right, so sit tight and let's go ahead and give that one a play for you guys. Okay.
Head coach of Trinidad and Tobago, Dwight York. First question for Coach York by show of hands, and use the microphone, please.
I had to give that a pause. I don't want the same thing that happened yesterday, the same mistake. For the love of God, if you guys cannot hear Dwight York, please let me know in the comment section. All right. Big ups to you guys there in the comment section. Chemo, I hope you're in good health, bro. I hope you're all well. Make sure you check out Chemo Hunter across social media. All right. Especially with that brutal fixture to come on home soil in some days' time on Tuesday night at the office. That's in Kingston, Jamaica, where we've got what will be the clash of the Titans against Curacao. Okay, so I'm about to play that press conference once more. If you can't hear it, do let me know in the comment section. All right, I need you guys to work with me tonight, so let me know in the comment section. Okay.
Coach tonight. Can you share your thoughts on the overall performance of the game tonight and where you think you could have done better for some the initial look of the game?
Listen, it does feel like a defeat to us, but I can tell you, yeah, we are disappointed with the results, but I can't tell you how proud I am about these players, what they've given over the past year since I've taken this job. It's hard to think that we are not where we want to be because of the point system, but in terms of performance-wise, these players given everything. And I couldn't tell you how proud I am. I think when you look overall and the stats actually suggest the dominance that we have, 62%, 17 chances on goal, 3 big chances today, 1 opportunity on goal. Those numbers, 42, 362 passes to their 251. So we looked at the stats, and of course, stats doesn't win you football matches, and it's just a fine line. We haven't been able to close the games off. But in terms of football, I'm sure anyone who watched Trinidad and Tobago play football, certainly from the time I've taken the job to where we are, it's you got to be proud of these guys. They left everything out there. They're giving everything, and the fans, the people of Trinidad and Tobago come out in their numbers to support the team. And we just came up a little bit short, but nevertheless, I'm over the moon by the team performance and what we've been able to do to this point.
Yeah, next question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, listen, the mood is obviously low because we really felt that we done enough to win the game again. And I think, again, if you look at the stats, suggest all of that. So it does feel like a defeat, although we haven't lost the game, but we seem like a common theme. Played Curacao, it's a similar feeling. We played Jamaica even when they beat us. We felt like we gifted them the goals. But, I don't want to look too much on the negative. It is where we are, but I certainly believe in these players. And I think that if you're fair to these young boys, which most of them are, from where we were to where we are now, it's incredible. And I know that a lot of people will look at the results or not being able to qualify. Certainly now that there will be a huge disappointment in that sense. But our football has been on the low for a while, and now we're on the uptick, and we become a team that the likes of Jamaica and other teams who are coming here know that they're in for a really tough game and a really hard time. And tonight was another indication of that.
Next.
When you first took the job last year, you was 17 and we were called. So obviously after the game, some members in the public will be asking questions about your role. One, how do you respond to that when people will question your role? And two, would you like to continue what you started as a coach of the team?
Yeah, I think, listen, I don't really listen to the outside world. I've got the experience enough now, and there was always going to be some people who like what we're doing and some don't. That's out of my control. I have no control over that. What I can control, what is in front of me. My contract runs for another 6 months, I think it is. And I'm happy to see those 6 months out if required. It's out of my control. People above my pay grade make those decisions. And again, I've got no control over that. But again, the year that I've been in the job, I think if you fear to say that we have made a hell of a stride and real positive. We have lost one game in this campaign and simply not enough wins or W's. We have an unbeaten record at home. And so that's something there's a lot of positive in there. And so, yeah, going back to your question there, people always kind of like what you do and some people don't. I'm not really fussed by that. I'm only focused on the job in hand. And I'm sure if conversation for me to carry on, then I'm sure I'll sit down and listen to what we've been trying to build here. But for now, I won't think about that. We got Bermuda to come, and we got to make sure and finish on a high. And I think that's where our focus will remain. But I'm not here thinking about or concerned about my position as the head coach of Trinidad and Tobago national team.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, a lot of press conference, you seem hurt by this season. I show some of the players in the because show they should be seen. How do you motivate them and help them so dreams that come out and play on Tuesday?
Yeah, we hurt him. There's no two ways about that. We hurt him because we have given everything. We dominate Jamaica in every sense. You know, the stats doesn't lie. I'm sure you're looking back, it's just a fine line. And so when you play the way we played and give what we have given throughout this campaign, particular tonight, I think this is probably our best performance. Jamaica had one shot on target and been able to score. We had 17 to their 6. 62% dominance, 362 to their 251. Possession base, we are dominating them in every aspect of the game. Unfortunately, stats doesn't win you game. And when you play the way we have played, with the energy, the passion, and control throughout the game, we have a strategy in terms in place. If we went behind what we did, and to see how we revert and the players are taking on board what we're doing, we score from the strategy of going to 3 in the back and pushing the 2 fullbacks on to then bring the wingers into the sort of attacking, more advanced position. When you see those plans are working and creating and scoring from it, as a coach, you take a lot of pride from that. But yes, it's still not what we wanted. It's been that sort of a campaign for us where we dominating teams, but somehow coming up a little bit short. But it's very encouraging. As a coach, you got to be very happy. And yeah, it felt like a defeat. It felt like a dig in the stomach, so to speak. And so it's not really easy to swallow that when you know you dominate a team like Jamaica. So yeah, of course we are hurting. The mood is that we got to dust ourselves down. That's the nature of sport. Sometimes you don't get results what you deserve in the game, and tonight was an indication of that. However, we got another game on Tuesday. We evaluate the game. We'll talk about it. We certainly have a couple more days to prepare, and the players will, it'd be up for Bermuda because we want to finish the campaign and I continue that unbeaten run at home. So as I said, there was a lot of positive there, and football have a way that it's sometimes it's not really fair, and we felt that this campaign has not really been fair to us.
Coach, commiserations, see that it is what it is. We are out of the World Cup 2026 qualification. So, moving forward, what recommendations would you make to the TTFB to perhaps improve or increase our chances in future campaigns?
Yeah, listen, I think the conversation has to take place going forward. I'm sure they will look at where we are from when I take the job to where we are now. And if they have, I'm sure they have aspiration of improving the whole environment, which is something we have been able to do. I think corporate Trinidad, the government, all these sectors, these private sectors have played a part in supporting the team. And I think you don't have to wait for a World Cup campaign before all the support and everything else to be put in place. You gotta build. It's a process. You gotta build to get to where you want to be. And so, yeah, the World Cup campaign, when I take it, was a 1-year deal to try and get everything done. In terms of recruitment, the Grandparent Act, all these things comes into play, which then gives us a better pool of players eventually going forward. So you can only see this squad of players, which are relatively young enough, will only improve. So, as I said, the discussion is not for me so much. It's for the hierarchy, the people up there, to make those decisions. I'm open to all options on the table, and if they see the future of this club, the future of this team going forward, as well as me being the head coach going forward, it's a conversation I'm happy to and open to have. But where we are is we are still building and improving, and I'm sure sometimes it doesn't happen over a period of 12 months. It might take 2 years before you get to the level you want to be.
Right, let's take a pin in it. So that's the first half of the post-match press conference there, led by the Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors legend Dwight York, and he's the current coach. Let me know what you guys make of what Dwight York said there in the first part of the press conference. There's part two, which I'm going to give to you guys in a few. I tried to make some notes while he was speaking. I think the main takeaway there, of course, before I forget my manners, unfortunately, rivalry aside, we all love the beautiful game at the end of the day. Of course, I put my country first, and I want my country to automatically qualify for the next summer's Men's World Cup. I don't want to go to a dogfight. I don't want to go to an intercontinental playoffs. That being said, unfortunately there for Trinidad and Tobago that they can't qualify for next summer's World Cup, because we already know how this one pans out in terms of the qualification and the automatic qualification, and also as I said, alluding to the 6 direct spots there in total. We already know that CONCACAF have 6 direct spots plus the 2 playoff tournament places. As I said, I am in no desire. I don't have no appetite to go to a dogfight, but if I must, I will, because I want to be the ultimate 12th man. But again, going back to Trinidad and Tobago, because obviously they are the host, so hence talking about them briefly before segueing and talking about the Reggae Boys. Reggae Boys are the meat of the matter. But I think it makes sense to pay homage to Trinidad and Tobago and also Dwight York. So as I was saying there, tried to make some notes while Dwight York was chatting up through his press conference. I think the main takeaway there, aside from the fact that they've unfortunately for them come up short, World Cup dreams there have come to an end, is the contract talk. Does anyone in there in the let me know in the comments section, Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, surely you are in your rightful mind. Surely you're not going to be daft enough to not extend Dwight York's contract. I think do I speak for everyone? Are we all singing from the same hymn sheet here when I say that he deserves a contract extension? He spoke again quite eloquently in his presser just then. And I think based on a couple of the things that he has said, just from this press conference alone, and maybe for me a combination of press conferences, but since we're talking about the post-match press conference, you can clearly see there a continuation of the evidence in front of you, in the sense that he's quite clearly heavily invested in being the head coach of his national team and wanting to take his nation back to the promised land. There, he spoke about stats. Now, mind you, this is a post-match conference, quite literally after the game came to an end, and he's giving you the stats. And I was actually quite taken aback by that. Wasn't expecting that. I don't know if my coach can do that. My coach probably need to turn to his press officer for clarification. But you have Dwight York there, and it's just rolling off like he's talking about the game itself. Obviously, he was on the sidelines, so he was watching, so he knows how the game went, and he's backing that up by giving us the facts, like hardcore facts that you cannot argue with. And again, that's the indication there for me, which goes to show that he is, in every sense of the word, heavily invested in his nation. And again, it's not that I'm envious of them, but I do admire it. I do love it. I like what they're doing. You can't knock it. Again, based on what I've seen from Dwight York so far, unless you guys disagree with me, but I think it's fair to say that he has instilled some level of immense belief into the Trinidadian players, and also the nation, Trinidad as a country. I think under their legend, I think for me, they've developed this never say die spirit. I'm not sure if it was there before, because I wasn't following Trinidad and Tobago like that, but it seems to me that they've developed this never say die spirit. And we go back and look at that game there, I think memory serves me well, we were about, in terms of the normal time there, the full 90, excluding additional minutes, 5 minutes away from securing 3 important points, and they managed to snatch 2 big points off us. And I think you'll be foolish to say that it wasn't deserved, because I think if we're being fair and honest, it was deserved. It was deserved, and they probably could have beaten us as the game went on towards the latter stages. So Trinidad and Tobago, I have no business wanting Dwight York to stay, but as someone who loves football and I want what's best for CONCACAF football. I want what's best for Caribbean football. Please stick with him. Please build with him. I think when you're listening to Dwight York, there's a lot of emphasis on long-term gratification. Like, it's not about the immediate here and now. This is a coach that I think is clearly laying down some foundation for the future. And I think if Trinidad and Tobago do the right thing, Trinidad and Tobago Association, that is, do the right thing, I think it will pay dividends. I think he will be the man to take them back to the promised land. And which will be quite fitting, him being a legend, him playing at their first ever FIFA Men's World Cup back in 2006. So next year that would make it 2 decades. I think he's the right person, the right candidate to take them back to the promised land. If you guys disagree, do let me know in the comment section. Before I continue with part 2 of that presser, their post-match conference from Dwight York, let me go ahead and see what you guys are saying there in the comment section. Good evening to you guys there. Maybe it's a good morning. Obviously, all depends on where you guys are based in the world. A good night to those of you there based in Europe as well. See what you're saying. No more English-based coaches. We need a South African or a Spanish coach. Even England ain't using English coach. That is a comment there from a pimp named Slick Bat. Can sense your frustration. Big ups to you. I hope you are well. A couple of you in the comment section are you're calling out for a new coach. Murder on a Tuesday. Please do go ahead and like and subscribe. It does not cost you a penny. If you haven't done so already, what are you waiting on? Kindly go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, it does not cost you a penny. Let's see, when we qualify, we should fire Steve and hire York. Wow, I can't see that happening. That would be something, wouldn't it? But I don't think that hell will have to freeze over before anything like that happen. I think, listen, I don't think Dwight York would do that to his people. If Trini don't want Dwight, okay, now we can have that type of conversation. Look, if they don't want send them perhaps they can send him our way, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they should be in their rightful mind to stick with their legend. Honestly, if Jamaica had Dwight York as the head coach, Jamaica would be playing better football than the coach we have now. I don't think Steve McLaren, greatest bit of respect to him, but I don't think I've ever listened to a press conference and I've felt to myself, yeah, I am so like pumped up for the game. I more times I actually avoid the press conferences because I'm like, you're not really doing nothing for me. Like, I would listen to it just so I can relay that information back to you guys, but I'm not turning to McLaren for a confidence lift. Like, you're not going to boost my confidence. If anything, you're going to make me feel a little bit sad. J Hummingbird, big up yourself. Oh, sorry, J.A. Hummingbird, my apologies. I hope you are well. Says, I agree with you. They are a better team. And I am taken aback by people who disagree with that. I think they are the better team. Like, just because we have the better players at our disposal, and that comes down to being able to recruit across the diaspora, that does not mean that we have a better team. Having the better players does not result in you having the better team. There's a couple of things there that Trinidad and Tobago do better than us, like the basic principles that you see from Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't see that from my boys, and it's quite disappointing. Should we get a younger coach with a modern mentality? That's not something that I've given much thoughts. I'm not really giving that much thought. I might have to think about that one. I might have to sit and think about that. But then who would you have in mind? If you can think of a name, then throw them my way. But I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't really thought about that one. One thing I have thought about though is going ahead and playing part 2 of that press conference there from from Dwight York before segueing with the rest of the show. Of course, the bulk of the show focuses on the Reggae Boys, so we will go ahead and do a review of the match itself. All right, but before we get around to that, let's go ahead and listen to the rest of Dwight York's press conference. Okay.
Technical staff and committee will be along with the move before we catch up with some of the other countries who are ahead of us.
Yeah, I think we have made important stride here, and I think if you fair to say that it takes some time to get to the level that we want to get to. And it's very encouraging what people see here. For me, as I said, it would take some time for us to get to the level. It's just the way how the nature works. But unfortunately, results keep you in the job. You got to make sure and get results along the way. But I think everyone could see that this Trinidad and Tobago team is it's a very good team. It's a very good team, and I'm so proud to be the coach of these young boys that will continue to grow. And I think the future is really bright for Trinidad and Tobago football.
Coach, I know this started with us right now in Jamaica. Where did you take the outcome to the game and what Jamaica's performance to your years in tonight?
I tell you, when I taken the job, I didn't. Obviously, Jamaica's ranking is so more superior than us, and I felt that if we were to qualify for the World Cup, then we had to have a benchmark around Jamaica. And the meetings that we have played Jamaica, the games have been extremely close. We never feel like we've been outplayed by Jamaica once. And so when you've seen these things, it's very encouraging because you expect Jamaica to have that superiority ahead of us. I felt in the period of time of the games that we played Jamaica now, I feel we have closed the gap immensely. And so where Jamaica football is and where Trinidad and Tobago football, I don't think there is much difference. I think what Jamaica has been able, where Jamaica football is right now and where Trinidad and Tobago football, I don't think there is much difference between the teams. I think that Jamaica has been, the experience has been able, maybe they've experienced a little bit more in terms of that, in terms of getting the results and taking the opportunity when it comes. And so, yeah, the gap is close. The gap is not what I thought it would be a year ago to where we are.
I am laughing because I was literally about to write "the gap is closed" and he took the words out of my pen. Like, we're singing from the same hymn sheet here. Let me go ahead and play that once more. Mind you, like I said, this is like my first time listening to the press conference with you guys, but it's interesting that he said that as I was literally about to write it down on my paper. Let's go ahead and listen to the rest of that one, okay?
And the evidence suggests that tonight clearly. And you know, I know people might think otherwise, but you just have to look at the numbers. And I do say to everybody to look at the numbers. I think Jamaica would say they're fortunate to come away with a point again tonight.
Okay, we have time for a couple more questions here. Go ahead.
The question asked me was Coach Dwight York, right? He was a trying to do multiple captain of this season. What does it feel to you after the results after the campaign? Tell us your emotions right now, your thoughts, if you can.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm obviously disappointed in the results because I felt that we done enough to win the game. We have created much more opportunity than Jamaica. We dominate them in every aspect. And so when you have a strategy in place and you play the way you want to play with the desire and you see the players are following the instruction that we ask them to do and actually seeing it implemented in the game. So you got to be proud of that. I'm proud of these players. I can't tell you how much effort they have put in and deserve more out of the game. So for me, really, it's about reflection now. It's not much more you can say about it, apart from the opportunity to to manage the national team outside of playing the game. It's, if not probably one of the most proudest moments of my career, and to be in these circumstances with the team going into battle. I wouldn't want any other team in the world, if I'm honest with you. And as I said, I'm excited for the future of Trinidad Tobago football.
Coach, you spoke about reflection, looking back at campaign. Do you have any regrets, particularly the 2 draws against Crawford? And you know, when is there anything that you do toward that could have done better? But the 8 players taking regrets.
You know, as a manager, you look at yourself first before you point the finger at anyone else. And I do look at myself, and because it starts with me in my leadership. And I'm sure along the line, I've not got everything right. I'm certainly not perfect, and I'm happy to say that. Do I reflect on the negative? Maybe there are some decisions that I probably could have made. But overall, you look at the 2 Curaçao game, we dominate them again, pretty much similar to Jamaica tonight. We dominate Curaçao. And, you know, when you listen to someone like Dick Abercott in the 2 games that we played him and having conversation with him afterwards, his reflection to Trinidad Tobago team, he's taken the 2 points and run. And that tells you where we are. And I mean that genuinely, and that's the conversation I had with him. It's the best 2 points that they have in the tournament. And it's not for lack of the way we play and the selection you've seen we dominate these teams. It's just that cutting edge. And ultimately, you're going to be judged on if you take your opportunities. When we haven't been able to convert in crucial stages of the game. And that's the reality of it. We improve in those areas. We continue to build. We continue to look at these young players and encourage them. They will grow from these disappointment, but certainly turn them into much better players. And you got to remember the low period as well as celebrate the high period. And there was lots of highs in this campaign. The last 3 games, we haven't lost a game. We lose 1 game in this campaign. And the draws against Curaçao maybe have cost us. But there is so much positive in there as well.
Coach, on what strikers, since you've taken the team, what strikers have been trying? Number 9 goal, might be conference, just to on each other, and of course, if I guess on the stats as number 9. But we have scored 5 goals in 5 games, plus 5 more. I think that's a reflection would be quality of number 9.
Yeah, listen, number 9s in the world, just in Trinidad, has become a rare thing. That's something that you used to find quite a lot. You look in the Premier League, there is not too many fantastic number 9s like it used to be. So it is the dynamics of the game has changed where number 9 is concerned. We have looked at that position, and Levi is the best. I think Levi was outstanding. I think he's been outstanding throughout the campaign. He really has. He led the team. With Molino not being there, at times he's the one that really taken on the battle. And I think ultimately, you're always going to be judging goals, and that's an area that we lacked in, and hence that's why we have drawn so many games for not taking the opportunity. But yeah, a 9 is something that we looked at. I think Levi has done extremely well, and that's an area that I continue to try and use him. But until we find somebody that is really suitable, the young Mitchell boy is a new additional to the number 9 position. We continue to look in those areas. It's an area that it's a dying breed in the world of football. You know, there's not too many great number 9s out there. There's only probably a handful of them. And so it's an area that we trying to improve, but we overall, in terms of the style of play and our philosophy and the structure and the balance of the team is really good. It's just that final turn, that's that little turn. And I feel like we haven't got, the football gods on our side this time around. We needed a little bit luck here or there, the little ricochet, the shots on target straight to the goal. those little moments, makes a difference. And I think that we've been unlucky in those departments. But, overall, as I said, we are excellent. We really were. And again, I encourage people to look at the numbers, but they will say numbers doesn't win you games. And although we haven't lost the game, it feels like a defeat. And that's where Trinidad and Tobago football is at the moment. And that's something that wasn't there 12 months ago.
Congratulations on the result. I don't know if I could just take you back to the starting lineup. Will you
what Molino brings to the table. There's no question about that. We felt that Jamaica wasn't really going to come and have a go at us. We felt that with our analysts that Jamaica was always looking to try and get a point to eliminate us out of the competition and take their chances at home in the last game. It's a game that they definitely didn't want to lose, and they played that way. They played not the Jamaican way that you would think Jamaica plays a certain type of way. They were dropping off, and so we felt to be aggressive against them in midfield. They're a physical team. That's one of their threat, as well as the two wide players who are a threat to them. So we thought we go physical in there to make sure, and especially over the first 45 to 60 minutes, and try and rattle them. And we did. We dominated them first half. You look at that game first half, they were hanging on and they were playing for time and breaking the game up. And, I'm a bit surprised by that. But, that's just to show our strategy and our planning was spot on. And then, of course, because we know we had to win the game, there was strategy. After 30, 60 minutes, we were going to go with 3 at the back, with 2 fullbacks pushing on, taking those wingers and put them in to create that numbers, with Molino coming in with the last 30 minutes. So when you see your game plan is working like we have worked, and then score from it with Molino coming on, it was, you got to say that's well thought out, right? But ultimately, we just haven't got that final goal and the opportunities to score. We had 3 big chances in the game, and we didn't take any of that, which again seems to be the theme. But overall, yeah, listen, I'm sure there were going to be critics out there that's going to say that you could have gone with Molino a bit earlier and stuff, but I'm the coach. I make the decision. And, as I said, we had a game plan, and I think we executed the plan incredible. And unfortunately, we didn't get the result. But everything else that we put into our thoughts in practice worked. It really worked. And again, Jamaica only had 1 shot on target and scored from it.
All right, we have a final question. Go ahead.
Coach, I know you fulfill the dream of carrying Super Warriors to a player. You still want to fulfill that dream as a coach?
Listen, I made it very clear. This is one of the proudest moments when the job was handed to me after the conversation with the president. The indication was clear within the 12 months to try and get us to the World Cup. And yeah, listen, it's disappointed, I have to say, but I only have another 6 months or so on the contract. Again, we will talk to see if they want me to carry on, but I'm very happy with where we are as a team, as a country in terms of the football. And I'm sure we'll be disappointed that we're not in a position to qualify for the World Cup. But the work begins now. Maybe, whatever I built, whatever the outcome is, Trinidad and Tobago football is in a good place. And I would think that they can certainly improve on that. Whether I'm the person to take them forward or not, that's out of my control. That's in the hands of the hierarchy, as we say. But for me, I carry on the job. I want to complete the job, certainly with a victory against Bermuda come Tuesday. And I'm sure if there's a conversation to have, I'm open to the conversation, but we'll have to wait until those situation things. But yeah, as I said, I couldn't be any prouder to be the head coach and proud to lead these players like I've led them to this point.
Right, gentlemen.
Well, if you guys fancy listening to Steve McLaren's press conference, that's the post-match press conference after that 1-1 draw against Trinidad and Tobago, I've already put it up on my YouTube channel, but if you haven't managed to catch up on it, do let me know. I guess it does make sense to listen to it, given that we've already listened to given that we've just listened to Dwight York's press conference. Let me know if you guys want to listen to Steve McLaren. I'm being serious now, by the way. If you want to listen to our gaffer's press conference, maybe you might have missed out on it. If we want to be objective, I guess if I'm trying to be objective with you guys, I have to play it then, right? But if you don't want to listen to it, then let me know. It seems like 2 of you in the comment section don't want to listen to the post-match press conference from Steve McLaren. I'm getting the no, and it's depressing. Yeah, like, as I said, the comparison between the two there in terms of how they address the media and the 12th man, it is quite alarming. Definitely the difference is quite clear with that one. So since you guys don't want to listen, unless I'm going to be sticking with the 2 last comments. It seems like it's a resounding no. So if you're sitting back and you're quietly tuning into the program and you haven't listened to it yet and you do want to listen to it, then do go ahead and let me know. If not, I'm going to continue with the rest of the program. But before I do so, I do agree with what Dwight York said there pertaining to the gap being bridged. I think he's right. I think they're definitely bridging the gap between us and them. And if you disagree, then fair play. Let me know in the comment section if that's the case. But I definitely think that they have bridged the gap. And I think, and if you guys disagree, as I said, do let me know. But I've been giving this some thought since last night, to the lead up of tonight's live stream. And for me, irrespective of what happens in some days' time, on home soil at the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica, I think for me, it's safe to say that whether we qualify for the World Cup or not, the way things are, for what we've seen over this qualification period, for me, qualifying for next summer's FIFA Men's 2026 World Cup, it doesn't symbolize progression. If you disagree with that, then do let me know. And I think, it's interesting, as I said, as I was writing down exactly what Dwight York was about to say, for me, if we're not careful, we're going to fall behind the likes of Trinidad and Tobago and Curacao. And I think, Dwight York said it, and it was part of my notes as I was listening to his post-match press conference. There is some fine margins there that separates the Reggae Boys to the Soca Warriors to the Blue Wave. If you disagree with that, again, do let me know in the comment section. But that's how I see things. I think it's some fine margin that separates us and them. And it's interesting to hear what Dwight York had to say pertaining to what the advocate said at the ending the full-time result between Trinidad and Tobago and Curacao. Now, if we go ahead and look at some stats there, because it did touch on a lot of the conversation there pertaining to stats. So I'm going to go ahead and look back on the stats. I know before I closed off on last night's show, I did talk about the stats with you guys. So I guess we could go ahead and look back on the stats before we continue to having some discussion about the game itself. I'm trying to multitask. I'm looking at different things at the same time. I'm also waiting on my guest to join the show as well. All right. So while we sit and wait, let me just go ahead and see what you guys are saying in the comment section before we segue and look at some of those stats there that Dwight York was touching on. So how would recommend Jamaica to open the gap, or is it a change of the guards? Oh, how would I recommend Jamaica to I see that it's quite interesting. Another thing that I've been observing since yesterday was the reaction to last night's draw. I feel like one half you have fans who are being positive, although I think that the positive isn't genuine. But I get the reason for wanting to be positive, trying to be the ultimate 12th man. And then on another hand, I've noticed a different sets of supporters and also reporters who are just telling it like it is. And I'm more siding with the latter. Just say it like it is. If I am seeing negative football, my reaction will be negative. Now, if you want my reaction to be positive, that's down to you. I can't do this fake positive where it's you're giving me negative football, but you want me to give you a positive reaction. The two can coexist. I can still be a supporting 12th man at the same time express my disappointment in what we've seen, not just last night, but just almost feels like forever, just some awful football. So to go back to this comment, as I said, us qualifying for next summer's World Cup, that for me does not symbolize progression. I think it probably would be something quite similar in terms of what we saw with the Reggae Girls and their round of 16. For me, that papered over multiple cracks, and perhaps we're seeing some of those cracks now. And I think it's somewhat similar to the Reggae Boys. We already know that there's some cracks there, and think it will be easy for some to get carried away if we do go ahead and qualify automatically, that is on home soil in some days time in Kingston, Jamaica. But in terms of recommendation, obviously Steve McLaren is not one for the future, is it? You don't build long-term gratification with Steve McLaren. A style of football, if there is one, isn't my cup of tea. The way that he addresses the media and the 12th man, you're not sweeping me off my feet, and I'm a light as feather. So for you not to be able to do that, clearly something is wrong with you. So yeah, he's just uninspiring, dull. He's for what it's worth, for what we've seen from him, definitely is not the man to lead us into the future. Whether they stick by him pending that we qualify for the World Cup, that's another question. I'm assuming based on what Mr. Speed said some weeks back over on Ball Pre TV that McLaren, pending that he does qualify us for the World Cup, that he be the man on the sidelines, because obviously he was hired to take us to the World Cup. So I'm assuming there might be a somewhat of a short contract extension if they have not already penciled that out in the background. So for me, again, not the man for us long term. What they choose to do with him if we qualify for the World Cup, that's entirely down to them, and whether they get rid of him or whether they have him on the sideline, obviously he will definitely be getting my support, and I'm sure he'll be getting you guys' support as well. And yeah, I think a change of guard is needed, both where the head coach is concerned, and also it's time to move on from some of the players as well, isn't it? But probably now is not the time to talk about that. So we'll see how this thing pans out. Perhaps it's one that we might have to put on the back burner and have maybe post World Cup, again, pending that we qualify. But some major changes is definitely needed. His total overview of the match is on points. That is York for Jamaica. So you're saying you want Dwight York for Jamaica? I mean, he kind of answered your question, didn't he? He only wants to be with Trinidad and Tobago. But if you make a man jobless, anything is possible, isn't it? Jamaica has become complacent in recent years, and the region caught up on us. We're not the big bad boys anymore. Change coach, call up more local players. Um, yeah, I'm not really for or against where players should be called. I think if you're good enough to play, you should play irrespective of where you're from, whether you're playing in the Jamaica Premier League, whether you're born in Jamaica, or whether you're born in the diaspora. My thing is, if you're good enough to play, then you should play irrespective of whatever the argument is. Can we trade coaches? I don't really think we can do that. But again, I don't think Dwight York wants to leave Trinidad and Tobago. Clearly, his heart is set on wanting to coach his country for the long run. Don't look like he drinks or smoke, while my coach can't wait to meet up with them. That's that's a massive stereotype there. He probably don't drink. I don't know him on a personal level, so I can't say whether he does or whether he doesn't. Or why don't we all just I don't know if the man drinks. He probably don't. Not all not every single English person drinks. But let's go ahead and look at some of those stats there that Dwight York touched on. I did actually have that up on the first part of my live stream. Didn't go into it in any great detail with you guys. So let's go back and look at some of those stats. Let me see if I can find those stats there for you guys. Gonna sound a little bit repetitive because I did actually go through this yesterday with you guys, didn't I? Before I rushed off from my live stream, that is. I did touch on a couple of the stats there for you guys. And the table doesn't lie, does it? The table does not lie. If I just scroll to my right, you can see they're leading the charge. At the top of the table, Curacao, our next opponents, they're leading the table by a narrow 1 point. They're on 11 points. Jamaica are on 10 points. And we spoke about a couple of these factors throughout the duration of the qualifying period there pertaining to what could pay dividends. One of the things that we touched on there, aside from securing maximum points, not wanting to play it safe, it's also intriguing to hear what Dwight York had to say with regards to our approach and what they thought we would do, and seemed as if we played right into their hand. So a couple of things there that we touched on throughout the qualification period is, again, aside from wanting to win maximum points, not playing it safe, not playing for a draw. Goal difference. We did go into the game against Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not going to say a superior goal difference, but it was the better goal difference of the two first and second place countries there, Jamaica and Curacao. But Curacao gave Bermuda a hefty beating. That's no wins there still for Bermuda. Can't see them beating Trinidad and Tobago, but anything is possible. Would be great for their nation to have something to smile about. Obviously, we know that it doesn't mean anything, but just to make themselves smile, just to say at least we won a game, that would be good for them. But anyways, as it relates to Curacao and Jamaica, Curacao sitting at the top of the table. As I said, we're on 11 points. Jamaica sitting on sitting in second place on 10 points. Curacao, the better goal difference of 10. That's 2 goals better than Jamaica. So quite a few of the fan base there were quite happy to settle for a draw against Trinidad and Tobago. I hope you guys have been taught a invaluable lesson. You can never ever try to play for a draw in no fixture that could prove to be decisive. Anything to do with qualifying for any tournament, any knockout competition, it's never ever a good idea to go for a draw, because it's just not safe to do so. What happens if it doesn't go according to plan? Then it's almost a slip and slide situation. So let me go ahead and look at a couple of those stats there. Don't think I've touched on the stats there with you guys. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but let's go ahead and touch on the overall stats. I think Dwight probably touched on the fact that it doesn't make for a pretty reading for Jamaica, and it didn't lie, did he? So in terms of ball possession there, 62% ball possession there for the host nation, 38 for Jamaica. Big chances created, 3 for Trinidad and Tobago, 0 for Jamaica. Total shots, 17 for Trinidad and Tobago, 6 for Jamaica. Goalkeeper save, Blakey being the busier of the two. Blakey had 5 saves. There was a save there that I really liked from Andre Blake, but I can't remember who took the shot at our goalkeeper. Corners, fairly even there. Trinidad and Tobago with 3 corners compared to Jamaica's 4. Fouls committed, 10 for Trinidad, 13 for Jamaica. Passes, 411 for Trinidad and Tobago, 257 for Jamaica. Tackles, 17 for Trinidad and Tobago, 24 for Jamaica. Free kicks, 13 for the host nation, 10 for the visitors. Yellow cards. I think we need to talk about yellow cards, don't we? 4 for Jamaica. I think that's probably a perfect note to kind of pause on the accumulation of yellow cards. Not to be funny or anything, but I do think that Trinidad and Tobago, I'm not really sure how they managed to go through that full 90 with not even getting a yellow card to their name. If you guys can figure that one out for me, then do let me know in the comments section. I think it's one thing I definitely agree with Steve McLaren. He touched paraphrasing some poor decisions being made there, wrong calls being made, or questionable calls, something of that ilk from the Knights referee. I don't know. I don't think he managed that game well. Some questionable calls there from the match officiators. So like I said, I'm not really sure how Trinidad went through that one without picking up any yellow cards. So let me know what you guys made of a couple of the decision makings there pertaining to the match officiating from the the um, the referee. Obviously, we heard from Steve McLaren, right, pertaining to why a few of the players there didn't start the match, and he pretty much said the reason for that is paraphrasing that he's trying to protect the players. Couple of the lads there that saw yellow, Bobby Reed, the Rico Henry making his debut, though he came on inside the latter stages of the game. Rico Henry picked up a yellow card inside the 89th minute. It's kind of bit of a funny one because he came on inside the 81st minute. Also, John Russell picked up a yellow card as well. We also had a few yellow cards to two of our other players, that be it Dixon and Lambakisa. And I think if memory serves me well, it probably McLaren, I think, touched on that in the post-match conference, paraphrasing saying that he wanted to protect the players there that were on yellow cards, hence not starting them, which I get where he's coming from. But one of the questions I've asked myself throughout this final round of qualification is the discipline of our players, or perhaps lack thereof. I think over the last few windows, again for the final round, we've picked up some cheap yellow cards. You can call it questionable decision making from the referee, or just perhaps a lack of I don't know if it's awareness or it's just a blatant lack of discipline from our boys. But definitely there were at least two yellow cards that could have been avoided from the maybe 2 to 3 yellow cards, or maybe even 4. I'm thinking two additional players there that could easily have been avoided. So what do you guys make of the accumulation of the yellow cards for the final rounds of the World Cup qualifiers? Do you think we have a discipline issue? Do you think it was the right call to not start Dixon and also Dexter? Do let me know in the comment section. I'm going to pause and see what you guys are saying there down in the comment section. If we don't beat Curacao next week and qualify, if them don't beat Curacao next week, JFF don't bother waste the money, use it on the girls. Am I reading that wrong? Qualify for, I might be reading that one wrong. In the US and Mexico, Costa Rica and Jamaica in 2031. So best government, that's not been finalized yet though, is it? I think that's just a bidding process at the moment. If McLaren don't take to the world on Tuesday, he should go straight to the airport and his belongings will be shipped to him. No goodbyes. Well, I should think the contract would come to an end on Tuesday. I'm not really sure about the writing of his contract. I don't know what's written in his contract, so I'm not sure what happens post Tuesday night's result. But as I said, Rudolph Speed already stated that he will be on the sideline. So unless things have changed, I don't know, but I can only go with what's been said from the horse's mouth. If McLaren don't win on Tuesday, he should go straight to the airport. No goodbyes, nothing, no thank you. Thank you for playing with our emotions. It's another comment there. Bless up. Jamaica team need more film night than game nights. World Cup. So again, you guys are not answering that question there pertaining to whether or not we have a discipline issue. I think there's the argument could potentially hold water. I think it's definitely something that we need to work on in the future, especially if we're looking to qualify for next summer's World Cup. We can't be going into the World Cup again pending that we qualify with this question mark pertaining to whether or not we are disciplined or just how disciplined we are, because we can't be going into no game in the group stage saying, oh, we can't play this player for the next match because they might pick up a yellow card and therefore they'll be unavailable for the next subsequent match to come. So discipline, I definitely think that's something there that is it going to be Steve McLaren or someone else that needs to instill some discipline into these players, then so be the case. But I definitely think that's something there that we need to work on as a team, both short term and also long term as well. And with regards to, let me go back and look at the see if I can look at the starting 11. Let's see if I can go back and look at this starting 11 before something slips my mind. I did have something I want to touch on. Where do I have the starting 11? Okay, yeah. Players. I think there was a couple conversations there, some long-winded conversation pertaining to who should have started the game or who should start the game going into the match against Trinidad and Tobago. I think it was a fair shout, unless you guys disagree with me, and of course do let me know in the comment section. I think it was a fair shout having Burrell start the match as the leading forward, and I'm saying that because I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. Of course, I'm fully aware of what Bose has done for Jamaica. I believe he's netted 5 goals now, so he's our leading goal scorer, right? And also we see what he's done against Caribbean opposition. But again, I can't sit here and be a hypocrite. I've always said that players should be called based on merit. Players should be called to the national team based on merit. And I think I can extend that and say the same goes for who should be starting. I don't really understand the annoyance from some section of our fan base regarding Burrell starting the game and leading the line. I think if you've been watching what Burrell's been doing for his club, I definitely think that he warrants a call up and also to start the game as well. And who knows, perhaps if Shamal started the match, it probably would have been the same results, because you cannot expect to have give a shooter a gun without bullets and expect him to take down your opponents. It's just not possible. Saying that to say, like, I was watching the game last night, and at one point, no disrespect to Borough, but I even forgot that he was playing, and that's not his fault, by the way, in my opinion. That's not his fault. I just felt like he wasn't getting the service, and I think the same probably would have been the outcome if Boza started the match. Your strikers need to be provided with the assistance so that they can find the back of the net. But again, saying that to say, you can see the little boot there next to Burrell's name. Irrespective of not finding the back of the net, he did do the next best thing, which is to provide an assist. And I do have to correct myself. I went back and watched the goal that was scored there by Cephas. A lovely, lovely goal, by the way, by Mad Max. And originally I thought it was Greg Lee that passed that ball out there from the Trinidadian defense and found Ronaldo Cephas, but actually it was Burrows. So again, despite not getting the service, which is what your striker need, your forward need service if you want them to put the ball in the back of the net. It did come through, it did come up clutch with an assist, and it did so from doing some defensive duties again deep inside Trinidad's defense before producing a long range pass, which thankfully fell to the feet of Ronaldo Cephas, and he did what he needed to do. I did say that Trinidad and Tobago, I'm surprised that they didn't address that issue pertaining to Ronaldo Cephas. And the fact of the matter is they just couldn't hold him. They couldn't manage him. I'm surprised that they didn't try to double mark him. I'm not sure why they did that. Obviously, I'm not mad at them, but for some reason they chose not to double mark him. And I looked at Payne and I'm thinking, you can't manage him. Like, Payne, you cannot manage Cephas. You needed to double mark, but they didn't. And in the end, it paid dividends for Ronaldo Cephas. So you can look at the player rating there for our players. Obviously, Cephas he's got one of the highest rating with it 7.2. Of course, the player ratings will be different depending on which sites you guys are looking at for generating your player rating. Andre Blake there with a player rating, the captain with 7.4. So big ups to Ramon Burrow. I don't understand the annoyance. I don't understand why people are throwing their toys out their pram. The man deserved to his call up, and he also deserved to start as well. And talking about Boza, and I'm not trying to put players against each other. It's just, again, I don't understand the annoyance of not wanting Burrows to start the game. For me, from what I've seen with Jamal Nicholson when he has been given the chance, because quite clearly I think based on what we've seen with McLaren and who he rates as his leading forward, when he has been given the chance of late, I actually think that Boza plays better with Dixon and Lambakisa, and both were on the bench. So would he have been able to maximize his his attributes there if those two players who he I think work best with were sat on the bench? I don't think he would have been able to do so. I think I'm liking the relationship there that was somewhat of a building relationship or growing relationship. I'm not sure how far it's going to grow to, but a growing relationship there between Lambakisa and Dixon, and also Tyrese Campbell as well. I'm liking the relationships being built there between them, and of course Ronaldo Cephas. So long may those relationships there on the wing pay dividends. And let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section, because I can't actually see you. He said Dixon should have started. We also need to eat, sleep, football, hold players accountable. 100% need to hold players accountable. You've heard brutally how Dwight York speaks in his press conference. Like I said, the two can coexist. You can be positive. You can also be completely honest. Just because you might have something negative to say, that doesn't mean you have to be rude or disrespectful about it. But my thing is, if you're giving me negative football, if the football's looking conservative, you can't then expect me to give you positivity, because that would just be me being insincere. Like, we've got to align ourselves there at the end of the day. Like, I'm staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning, gone past 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm looking at some dull football that is I'm struggling to stay awake and watch the game, but I'm still doing my part as the 12th man. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you that you're great when you're far from it. So looking at the rest of the players there, Isaac Hayden, heart of the midfield with a 7.2. Of course, we know that unfortunately Richard King had to be substituted. Bit of a shame there. I hope it's nothing too serious there. Not just for Tuesday night's crucial crucial match against Curacao, but also for the duration of his season when he returns to Scotland with Saint Mirren. I do hope that it's not going to keep him on the sidelines for a lengthy spell. Now, what else did I want to discuss with you guys? I've got to try and think before it kind of leaves my mind. There is something else I wanted to discuss with you guys, but I'm struggling to. It's kind of like drifting away from me a little bit. I've got to look at this team here and see if I can pick up on what else I wanted to speak with you guys about. I think we already touched on Shamon Nicholson. I spoke about Dixon and Lamba Lambakisa. Um and yeah, in terms of Trinidad and Tobago again. So let's just go back and look back at Trinidad and Tobago. You can kind of see their stats quite close to our player rating, isn't it? Again, I think that they deserve the points. They deserve to hold their equalizer. Speaking of the equalizer, I've watched this back a number of times and I can't really see what we were protesting. Maybe you guys can explain that one to me because for the love of God, I don't know what the hell we were protesting. So let me know in the comment section what we were trying to protest. I've watched back the equalizer. Apart from the fact that I think we were just trying to be cute and clever, which I don't blame the boys for attempting to do that. But again, I don't know what the hell we were protesting because if that goal had been chalked off, it would have been so unfair because I think the goal should have stood and it would have been quite laughable as well. Not laughable if you're a Trinidadian, because we obviously knew that in the other game, in terms of the match that was played against Jamaica in Kingston, Jamaica, Trinidad, funny enough, scored three wonderful offside goals. So thankfully, the football gods, for their sake, were on their side. So let me know in the comment section what you make of Trinidad's equalizer and whether you think that was the right call to let the goal stand. I think that it was. I don't think that goal should have been chalked off. So yeah, it was good to see that that goal stood. Aside from that, atrocious match officiating from the referee. Definitely didn't want to do us no favors. Kind of remind me of those refs there that want to make the occasion all about him. Like he was trying to be the protagonist when it's not about you. It's about the two nations locking horns, biggest Caribbean rivalries. Rivals going head to head. But it seems like he wanted the script to be about him. That's just my opinion, right? And of course, it wouldn't make sense to go into the conversation about Curacao because we can save that conversation there for another time. But massive showdown to come against Curacao in Jamaica. If you're in Jamaica and you manage to grab yourself a ticket, enjoy that match. I'm not even sure, is it sold out yet? I'm hoping it's going to be a sold out game if it hasn't been sold out yet. But if there is a chance to still nab yourself a ticket, go ahead and watch it. Um watch the game live on direct. You might be on the right side of history. So do go ahead and enjoy that one if you can. All right. So I do have my guest in the studio. I think he's just trying to sort himself out. So just give him like a couple seconds to do so before we close off on the show. All right. So just give him a couple seconds just to sort himself out. If you have any questions for me and my guest, it's a base that is familiar to you guys, right? So you should be comfortable with throwing your questions our way. All right. So let me go ahead and bring out my special guest. King, how are you, sir? How you doing?
Wagwan, Krista, wagwan. People
Bert,
in the
I
chat.
am tired. I am knackered. How are you?
I'm doing great, you know. I'm hanging in there.
Have you
Keeping
managed
a,
to sleep?
keeping a feet. Well, what is sleep? What is sleep? What is sleep these days, yo? We just put in the work. We just putting in the work. But Yeah, I've been listening to the show. I've been trying to rush to get over here, man, to try and set up. I know I'm a bit late. I'm sorry about that. Lateness is greatness, but
We all have things to do, so don't worry about that. Thank you
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah. But it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week. I'm just trying to put in this work. And yeah, it's almost we got one more big hurrah, one final. It seems like the game on Tuesday is gonna be a huge final. Big up everybody in the chat, by the way, people. Big up yourself, everybody in the chat. Big up the chat as well. Big up yourself, Crystal. You don't know. It's nice to see you here putting in the work because we just gotta keep on working. We gotta put in this work
yeah,
because
that's true. And big
yeah,
ups to you. You've been putting in the shift. I don't know how you do it, but you're doing it, so long may it continue. But the finale on Tuesday, are you going to please tell me you're going to the game?
I, come on, I would miss it for the world. I'm telling you, I would miss that game for the world, Crystal. So definitely, I'm gonna be at the game. Definitely, I'll be at the game. Yeah. I think I'm getting a feedback though. That's why I'm trying to figure out. You're not hearing
Yeah,
the feedback, right?
I'm not hearing a feedback. I don't know if the guys in the comment section are hearing one, but I'm not hearing a feedback. But how you feeling about the game? Like how's the nerves, if there is any?
So before the before the last game, I told everyone that I was a bit anxious, not nervous, but anxious. And I think the anxiety level has cranked up a bit based on the result of the last game. Now, to be fair, Elite Sports, listen, Elite Sports, not too long ago with Ryan. Ryan said something very important, which even me myself overlooked, which is that it's amazing that in the World Cup qualifiers for CONCACAF, not one team has qualified as yet. Not one. Not the Suriname, not no team, no Costa Rica, no Honduras. But yes, we got the soup group, we got the easiest group. However, we see where Curacao is. And you
Yep.
can't take Curacao for granted. Curacao literally has lost a game all campaign, unbeaten all campaign, and that is not by luck. That is not by luck. That is just where that team is. Now, the question is, if before a ball was kicked, would you or would me or would the coach have taken one last hurrah, one final, one showdown for 3 points in our national stadium at home? Would you have taken that one showdown for 3 points at home?
As in, would I have liked for it to be the way that it is?
Yeah, if a ball wasn't kicked, before a ball was kicked, would you have taken? That's a question I've been asking myself.
Mm.
If I would have taken one last hurrah, one last
If
finals to
if
get to the
it
World Cup.
it's one of those things where if it goes according to plan, then absolutely. But if not, then we'll be kicking our teeth. But we'll be looking at a game like, I mean, I'm not sure, King. I'm not sure if you listened to Dwight York's press conference, and I played it like intentionally. One, I didn't even know what he said beforehand, but I figured to in the build up to the show, it'd be interesting to listen to what he has to say. Because for me, right now, I can't think of a coach in our region that speaks better than him.
Yeah.
And I just love listening to what Dwight York has to say. But a couple of the things there that he said, like, paraphrasing, they clocked how we would approach that game. They knew that we would be coming into that game wanting to play for a draw. And I just kind of feel like it's just so embarrassing. It's so shocking. Like for me, I'm never going to applaud you for wanting to play for a draw. Not when the team is definitely going out there to play for a win. And it's that mentality of wanting to play for a draw while we're now looking at that game against Curacao and saying, we literally cannot afford to lose that match. Whereas before going into the game against Trinidad, we could go against Curacao and draw. But we got it wrong. What we should have done is just go into that game against our biggest Caribbean rivals and say, I'm going to knock the stuffing out of you. I'm taking 3 points from you. And I know that when I go back home, Curacao have to throw the stink at me. If not, we're going to the World Cup. So I think the approach was wrong. But what do you expect when you've got, you know? McLaren leading the ship. He has not wowed me, King. Maybe we look at things differently, but he has not wowed me. Like he just doesn't have the X factor, and it pains me listening to him and then listening to Dwight York because I'm just like, wow, like confidence starts from the top, King. Like confidence starts from the top and it trickles down to your players and subsequently into the fan base. But perhaps I'm thinking of things differently. I mean, how do you see everything that's unfolded so far?
All right, so you're 100% right. Where the coach, especially the track record that he has in the past, which with us, because remember the Gold Cup. Remember that we didn't approach the Gold Cup to win the Gold Cup, and he said that everything was directly about qualifying for the World Cup, qualifying for the World Cup, qualifying for the World Cup. So everything was thrown out the door in, I would say, over the last year to 18 months, and all the focus has been qualifying for the World Cup. Now, if qualifying for the World Cup is your sole goal, I think that the coach made a calculated plan to say that he's going to play a one-off final, and that is one-off final in the national stadium. I think the coach believes in the fans and the power of the fans to say that he can get the job done with a one-off game at the stadium. No, that's his belief because, again, just like you said, I agree. We need 4 points from the last two games. We needed 4 points from the last two games, no matter how you put it. If the 3 points came from Trinidad and Tobago, we would only need 1 point from Curacao. If we got 1 point from Trinidad and Tobago, which we did, we're going to need 3 points from Curacao. So if you need 4 points from two games, you, the coach, now have to decide which of the game you are going to approach to get the 3 points from. And as it's clearly shown, the approach was to get the 1 point. Well, coach did say, because I was listening to, driving in from work just now, I was listening to you all along. So I listened when he played the White Yarks press conference, etc. But if you listen to Coach McLaren, what he said is that two things. One, he always knew that it would come down to the last day. I'm like, what do you mean by you always knew? What do you mean by you always knew?
Mindset.
Like, we had opportunity to get this wrap up before the final day. Now, I think what he's saying that is the difficulty. I think we see this as a soup group, but he understands how difficult it is. And if you take a look at the Trinidad team, Trinidad is a rapidly improving team. That's clear to see. And not to talk about Curacao, that several of the last night just show us that Curacao is not playing around. And
They're not.
Curacao, we know the quality in the team, we know the quality of the coach. So again, is it that the coach, as I said, 4 points, and the coach really decide that he's gonna go all out for a one-off game in Kingston with the fans behind him? That is what the gamble I think he has made. That is what he sees that makes sense. Now, as I said, we can't lose the game because going to try and win this game, we're in a situation now where we can't lose because now, if you're thinking logically, you start to think about say for instance we don't get a victory, which nobody wants to think like that. But if you're going to think logical and realistically, you have to start thinking about, okay, start looking at the other groups and who's the best second place and start thinking about getting there. And there's a scenario that, which we're not going to speak of because we don't want to put it out there in the air, but there's a scenario where the unthinkable can happen. How far ourselves not even in the playoffs, and that is what we don't want. So the coach literally say envision this. The coach also said that if, I think journalists asked him, I haven't found back the interview, but the coach literally said that somebody asked him if he would have taken a point before the game, and he answered yes. And I'm like, yo, that means that the coach literally premeditated getting a draw from that game. And then the changes also said, and I understand that he's saying that the changes meant that he was trying to hold on to what he's keeping. But again, taking off a striker, leaving the two wingers or two new wingers out there with no strikers. I hear you talk about Burrell, I hear you talk about the running narrative in the space between Shamar and Burrell, and I hear you talk about what the coach said about protecting the players, etc. But the truth is, that's negative. Taking off a center forward and just trying to shut up shop. We've seen this tried a lot of times, and I don't know the ratio, but from the eye test, I think 6 out of 10 times it doesn't work. Probably it does work to an extent. Sometimes you get away lucky. But if you're going to soak up so much pressure, one at a time, that might happen. Just a loose ball in the box, and we'll see what happens. From a loose ball, man, them score. But you have to give yourself an outlet. So you took off the outlet in Cephas. You take off the outlet in Burrell. Yes, you had 2 new wingers on, but Whisper isn't going to run in behind. Whisper is not the running behind type winger. He's the winger that's going to take the ball and take you on and create a goal. Campbell is probably similar. Now you take off Cephas, that's going to run in behind. Cephas going to use the speed. Fine, Cephas was tiring. But I think the coach, him say him not try protecting players them and basically playing for this one major final, showcase Tuesday, National Stadium, Jamaica versus Curacao. I think this is the coach's plan. So if this is really his plan, we're gonna see if
I think
it's a risky plan. I'm telling you.
it's almost like you're basically intentionally put all your eggs in one basket. Like you put all your eggs in one basket. And for me, it's like a serious gaffer. Look, I'm no football coach. I'm no football expert. I'm not going to pretend like I am. But surely, when you're doing these types of must-win matches where you know that you cannot afford to slip up, and I should think he knows that by now because he would have had a glimpse of that in the Gold Cup. Right, and he should have known that with the World Cup qualifiers, you can't play it safe. Surely, you should have looked at a game like a Trinidad and Tobago and say that shut up shop. Just shut up shop. Let's just make sure we come and get the maximum points. Like it's like again, I'm not really sure what to believe from McLaren because in the in the pre-match press conference, I'm almost certain I heard him saying that he wants maximum points from the 2 games. And then post-match, he said, if you had asked me before, I would have said I would take a draw. I'm pretty sure I heard him say something along those lines. I'm just like, well, which one is it? And also, if you were playing for maximum points against Trinidad and Tobago, why didn't you set up the team for that? Because how many times was Burrow receiving the ball?
Yeah, and then the setup itself, the starting lineup, and what he said showed that he didn't set up this team to win. Because if you're gonna say that you're protecting Ian Frey and Dexter Lembikisa, that is 2 right back. Why are you protecting 2 right back? Why don't you send one out there, and then if he picks up a card, at least you have one on the bench. So you're protecting your 2 right backs. Fine. Now, if you're saying that you're protecting both right backs because one of them, Ian Frey, is the deputy for Isaac Hayden, and then if Isaac Hayden, God forbid, worst case scenario was to happen to Isaac Hayden, then Ian Frey is the deputy. So you're protecting him for the deputy and you're protecting him for... But the word protecting the players for the final game just shows you the mindset that what are you protecting them for? You're protecting them for the big game in your eyes. That
yes.
This is the big game, so you're protecting them for that game. So it's obvious that you made the gamble of going into the final game. So it seems like, yes, the run of play and the style of play to get the ball to the flanks, that was gameplay. Hit on the counter attack. Cephas, that works like it worked. I think that was a gameplay. No, that worked. Cephas scored. But just by your starting lineup, just by exactly what you're saying, protecting players, it shows your hand that you were protecting players for this one big final game. Now you have to be judged by that, because if this is your super mastermind plan, and now you come to this one game, you must win this one game. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket, as you say, you have to protect this one basket, and you have to defend this one basket, and you have to carry on this one basket with your life. So me analyzing that, that's what the coach do. Really, I'm going to judge him after. Because after knowing that one basket you put all your eggs in, let me see how you defend that basket. Let me see you carry this basket across with all the eggs safe and intact. You have to do that, because it's clear that's what he did. It's clear.
Look, King, are we, and I mean this with the greatest of respect to our boys, but are we a one-trick pony? Because I'm listening to what you said and you just kind of put a question in my mind. I'm like, if that's what he's thinking, is Dick Advocate then looking at that game and saying, are they a one-trick pony? So you are protecting these players. What happens if I go out there and pressure those players and take them out the game? Then what will happen? Because I could pressure you into the point where you get a sending off. So what's going to happen if you can't play without Campbell, or you can't play without Dixon, or you can't play without Ian, or you can't play without this person that you're trying to protect? So are we a one-trick pony, or again, have we shoulder our hands, and could Dick Advocate be looking at that and be like, all right, I got you, I got something for you?
Well, we're gonna see. It's gonna be a battle against two minds, because here's the thing now. Dick Advocate, him gonna have theme game plan. Curacao gonna have for them game plan to nullify it. And as I say, if we are one trick pony, it's gonna show. Now, I must say tactically, especially we know the big problem in a midfield, and about we don't have a lot of variations in midfield, right? We don't. Now, the fact that we should see Ian Frey, no, Dexter Lembekisa or Ian Frey. The reason why I said Dexter Lembekisa first is because Dexter Lembekisa seemed to be the starting right back. No, we don't know, because the coach also said in the press conference that Ian Frey is ideal for that inverting role, and that might be ideal when we're on the ball. Now, the fact that either one of the right backs will be inverting also means that it's going to help our attack. And this is how I view it tactically. So tactically, when Dexter or Ian Frey inverts and he forms a double pivot beside Isaac Aiden, what you're going to see is that Bobby Reid is now going to join the attack, and whoever plays the number 10 is going to join the attack. So that's two players. You're going to have 2 10s, 2 6 and 2 10s to assist with the two wingers and the centre forward. So that will help us in attack. That will definitely help us in attack. So we'll be more attacking, and we'll be a more progressive team. And again, knowing the run of play is that Curacao doesn't need to win, which would mean that also we'll have majority possession of the football. Now, with that said, we're going to be very it's going to be easy for them to play us on the counter attack. So it's going to be very easy for them to play us on the counter attack. So I'll be thinking that Curacao will be sitting back in a low block. But here's the thing now, though, Crystal. I'm no expert about Curacao, but I don't think every single team is equipped at sitting back and hitting on the counter attack. I don't think that every single team, and I don't think Curacao is built for that. I don't think Curacao is built for sitting back and hitting on the counter attack. I don't think so. So that might be a bit difficult. That might be a bit difficult. Then the other thing that we must look at, and we can't go around it because I hear you speak about it, is the fans that are saying about Burrell. You spoke about Burrell again. Good spot. I didn't even know that Burrell was the one that got the assist. Good spot. But
King, I can't speak for both of us, and it's I don't mean it's nothing disrespectful, but we have so many guys in the squad with like dreadlocks and it's hard to tell who is who, because sometimes I can't tell the difference between Tyrese Campbell and Batista. So like last night I got it wrong. I was like, oh, Greg Lee with a good ball. It wasn't Greg Lee.
It could have been Karai Anderson, it could have been Casey Palmer if he's playing.
My bad, but yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so when he said it, I'm like, okay, Burrell got an assist. Yes, really and truly fed off scraps. No chances was created for him. Then some people is gonna argue that he didn't create chances for himself. Now, the substitution to take him off and not put on another centre forward when we have a squad of 4 centre forwards, as you said, it's crazy. That's mind blowing. It's crazy. But then that's what's happened. In that shut up shop, again, the Rico Henry change. I hear a lot of people talking about it, but it was evident that what he tried to do with Rico Henry. I think he brought on Rico Henry for him to man mark Levi Garcia. That was causing a whole lot of trouble. Levi Garcia was easily the best player on the field. Yeah, so I think he brought him on to man mark Levi Garcia yesterday.
Do you know why I'm laughing?
What's that?
It reminds me of a conversation that we had like some 3 weeks ago, when you was like, it's funny enough because when I saw that Rico Henry got his call, I was just like, okay, King's going to be happy. But this is what I was trying to say, King, that I'm glad that Rico Henry's there, by the way, but that's one of the things I was like afraid of, like, with bringing players into the qualifiers at this stage round, and then knowing when not to play them, because CONCACAF football is different gravy. Just like you said, you couldn't manage him. And it's not that he's better than him. It's just, this is new to you. You're not familiar with him, But I'm definitely glad that Rico Henry has his papers and welcome aboard. Do you think he's gonna start next match, or do you think?
No, I don't think he's gonna start next match. But here's the thing: the good thing is that he's now captain, and that's the most important thing. Having the option or the option of Premier League quality Rico Henry. But I would be very surprised if he starts. I would. Will I be surprised? Yes and no, because here's the thing: there's a pro and a con. There is also a reason why he could be starting again. If he started
Yeah.
on the left hand side beside Ethan Pinnock, they both know each other game, so they both are gonna have some level of partnership there. But the partnership between Lay, Cephas, Pinnock that has been building, so that's what I expect to continue. Now the
Exactly.
point that I was making before was now the whole thing about Burrell. Burrell did his best, and again the way we played with Burrell, the long ball them up to Burrell. Burrell's not gonna win a lot of those duels. I guess we give him basket for carry water just to add to the basket. The basket, um, the whole basket reasoning. So we give him basket for carry water. He did it to the best of his ability. He didn't really have a chance. He didn't really create a chance. But again, that's just the run of play. Again, I think a lot of the gameplay that we tried to do was to isolate Cephas, especially on that left hand side, 1v1 with the defender, and that's how the goal came. So that is really what we tried to do. A few times we tried to do it with Burrell, but really and truly down the middle, he won't be isolated because he might have two centre half to deal with. So it's not gonna be 1v1 like how Cephas was 1v1. So again, he was giving basket to carry water. Now the interesting part is that I think the coach again, him say him rest the players them that he rest and to protect them, right? He protected those players. I
He
also think
needs to go on. You need to tell him to protect his job. That's what he needs to do.
well,
Not protected players.
if this coach decides that he can take it down to one game, if this coach decides that the out of the 4 points he need, he's backing himself to get 3 points against Curacao, me can tell you say if him get the job done, because me that target Trinidad and Tobago more than Curacao. But again, he's thinking of it as Trinidad's an away game, it might be more difficult. And he's thinking that Curacao is the home game, which he might have the 12 man of the crowd. So he's thinking about playing with 12 man against playing away to Trinidad against 12 man. But if you look at it, the truth is it would have been easier to get the 3 points at Trinidad and get the point at home against Curacao. And
100%.
also it would have dictated how Curacao played that game. We could have been more conservative and hit them on the counter attack and actually play that way. So it all determines that. Now the point with Burrell that I was making is that the show that I did the night before the game, a lot of people was talking about who should start, and we made a case for the four strikers in the team. Now, one of the things is that I think most of us were very surprised to see Burrell starting because, again, you have Kadamachi. Warner Brown wasn't in the squad altogether. But you have Kadamachi there. He has started a few games. Shamar definitely has started a few games. Warner Brown seemed to be the coach's starting centre forward anytime he's fit. So the odd man out is Burrell. You weren't expecting Burrell to start. Now, I'm looking at this game to think that him starting Burrell, him starting Oldgate at right back, well started that we didn't expect to start. And John Russell, those three, along with giving Rico Henry his debut, was him using this game to give those players minutes. So it was like a game like, okay, I don't have to win this game, so I'm going to give some players minutes. So it seems like he gave Oldgate some minutes. Remember, Oldgate hadn't played a minute in the last round. He was on the bench both times. Didn't play a single minute. Burrell the same. But now he used this game to give them a start. So I'm thinking to myself that, the coach is using this game to give some players minutes and to rest some players and protect them. He's putting all his eggs in one basket. It was clear. Clear. So now we expect Shamar to start in the National Stadium. And again, we know that tired of this division of the thing. But I think that the coach is some way looking to have 35,000 people, 40,000 people again. And then you're going to have a Shamar Nichols. So where everybody say I grew up in there and he might carry family them. He might carry one bag of family them. And again, it's no knock. Again, we're tired of the divide. But I think this is what the coach is thinking. And I think that is what the fan base has been, because everybody's asking for Shamar. Shamar. As much as Shamar hasn't played a single minute since the last time he played for Jamaica, but when Shamar put on the black, gold, and green again, he's the leading goal scorer
Yeah.
currently in the team for a reason. He's the leading goal scorer this campaign for a reason. So I think the coach taking that gamble to also put back Shamar out there. I would be surprised if Dixon starts out there again.
He
I don't know. I
needs to.
think the coach, he needs to. Well,
Yeah, I
I,
think so. I think
I don't
that's
want
like.
Demar on that right hand side though. So I guess fine. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go on. I didn't catch the last bit.
No, I'm saying that if Dixon needs to start again, I think the coach is gonna. I think the coach's idea is to, how can I use all these fans and tap into them the right way, feed into the fans. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Whisper, because we know that Whisper is a crowd favorite. I wouldn't be surprised to see the crowd favorites in the team starting. I wouldn't be surprised, because I think the coach is gonna use that.
And unless someone's going to tell him that who's the. I see. Even I don't know. Like I can't see McLaren looking at us like that and thinking. I don't know. He's an odd one. Does he even know who the crowd favorites are, and does that even matter to him? And also, I'm looking at. I don't know about you, but I think there's a little bit of like I said, there's a little bit of a growing relationship there between Dixon and Boza. So again,
Yeah.
with such a decisive game, that's not to say that Whisper can't do what Dixon can. With just such a decisive game, I'm wondering, do you again want to disrupt the partnership too much? Or is it a case of saying, at the 60-minute mark, if I'm not seeing no difference, I'm going to make an immediate change, as he has been doing around the 60-minute mark. But I don't know. And I think you're right about Boza. My thing is, I think me and you are singing from the same hymn sheet. It's like, for me, if anything, it's a blessing with regards to the quality that we have for the centre forward selection. But it's like King, whether it's Bailey, whether it's Boza, whether it's Borrow, whether it's Warner Brown that's leading the line, if they're not getting the service, it's just going to be a empty weapon. It's just you're not going to be able to do much with it. Like you've got to give them the service. And thankfully, what we saw from Burrow is that he made something out of nothing. And even when Bosa started, I think it was the last match with which he started, you saw him dropping quite deep. And at times you've seen him saying to the guys behind him, like, give me the ball, like, or give me the service. So again, whoever's starting leading that line, you gotta give them the ball, you gotta give them be the service provider.
Yeah, and I think one of the narrative that's running in the space is that the team that is expected to start, I know that we're going to talk about that, is going to be Boza is going to come back in. As you said, the partnership between Boza and Kaim Dixon, so you can expect Kaim to start on the right.
Sure.
I think Dimi will start in the center forward, attacking midfield, Demar Gray and Cephas to the left. So it's going to be a all out. It's going to be 4 attackers going at them.
Dimi, you know what? Why am I acting so surprised? Of course, I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, no, I agree with you. I think he will. I think.
What you trying to say, Krista? What you trying to say?
I'm not fighting you with Dimi, and I'm definitely not fighting you with Bailey. I'm not winning that battle. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Dimi is going to start in that central attacking midfield position.
Yeah, I think so, because I don't think he's going to go back with Russell. And I think I hear you breaking down the game, and I think I hear you talking about the referee's call, and I hear you say, because the coach also accept. Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi. I think I need to go get the LAN card, because the Wi-Fi here always acts up when I come over here. So I'm gonna get the LAN card, I guess, for tomorrow or something. But one of the things is that the coach always what was saying that? I lost my chain of thought. Dimi? Demar Gray.
In the central attacking midfield position.
Oh yeah. So the coach spoke about the offside goal that John Russell scored.
Yeah, referee. My bad, referee. Yeah.
Yeah. So John Russell scored the offside goal, and Crystal, I have images. I have images to prove that that wasn't offside, Crystal. It wasn't offside. And I know that angles don't work like that. I know that I'm not the biggest geometry, and I didn't go to school to study all kind of angles. But me have an angle there where it's clear. It's clear as mud that Russell wasn't offside. Russell was never offside. And that's the thing with VAR. Come on, man, VAR. I mean, I know why we have to do things the hard way. Why we have to get the body rub off the. Why would not get the lock up? But it is what it is. Can't argue over spilled milk. But
And then
the coach take it with grace, though. The coach take it with grace, knowing that, in my opinion, as well, at least one of Levi Garcia's goals in the last game, at least one of them, I don't think was offside either. So I guess it's all fair. It's all fair right now. So that's how I'm thinking of it. But
God.
if Russell doesn't score, come on, man. If Russell doesn't score, man, I tell you. Russell does score, we don't know we'll get that first if Russell does score. So I don't expect Russell to go again.
Yeah, that is funny. I mean, what really left me scratching my head was, why wasn't there a free kick for Whisper? That should have been a free kick. And it's one thing that you didn't give a foul, but when it goes the other end, seconds later, you're drawing for your yellow card. So I'm like, how you managed to math this one up? Because it's not really making sense for me, you know? So yeah, I'm hoping that we get better match officiating. I don't think you want to come to the National Stadium with some funny business, because they're probably going to bottle you. If it's play around with us, it's at that National Stadium on Tuesday. You're going to get bottled. So, yeah. I think we'll get some good match officiating on Tuesday. Otherwise, that referee is not leaving that stadium alive, I don't think. They're going to deal with it.
We're not inciting violence.
We're not inciting violence, but he's going to hear some words that he has never heard before. I'm telling you. But yeah, it was an interesting match. Obviously, we're still within a chance of qualifying. It's not the worst results, not the results that I would have wanted, but definitely not the worst results. And I'm happy that at least you're going to be inside the National Stadium. I'm going to be obviously at home, hopefully, watching the game, but can't say I'm excited, King, because I am bloody nervous. I can't say I'm excited.
So here's the thing. I think a lot of us that's going to the game is anticipating the moment to run onto the field. You know, the moment that you see on TV all the time, running onto the field. People are practicing running onto the field. So I'll be practicing to run onto the field, and what am I gonna do?
Are you gonna run to the field, King?
110%. I'll be there, running down the stairs to the field. What do I need to do? Get a piece of the grass? How does it work again? Leave the grass alone. Leave National Stadium grass alone, people. I'll be on the field, man. I'll be on the field. I probably will be live streaming on the field.
Yeah, guys, don't take the grass, because the girls need to play on the grass at some point. So don't take the grass. My God, that's such a wonderful moment. I'm praying to God that we qualify. It's gonna be tears of joy. Can you imagine if we know this time next week we'll know? Definitely by then, you know. But I'm praying to God that we qualify, and obviously, despite our differences of opinion for the gaffer, we all wish him the best of luck, and we hope that he can go ahead and do what many see as the unthinkable. So hopefully he can go ahead and get that done.
Yeah, definitely. And again, so for me right now, I'm in fun mode. Right now, I'm in fun mode because as a fan, I'm able to criticize. I'm able to talk about things that I don't want to see. I'm able to question certain decisions. They say on match day, say come Tuesday, I'm in supporter mode. Well, I'm in supporter mode, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, but still, we're in fun mode because it's not match day, so certain things can be fixed. Certain things need to be heard to
100%.
for the coach to hear and look into certain things and look into what needs to be fixed tactically. But on match day, come Tuesday, supporter mode. Once me in a supporter mode, whatever the coach say and do, I'll be willing him on, we'll be willing on any player we want to start out there. John Russell, are you a start? John Russell, I'll be your biggest fan out there. If a John Russell start, you must score. Yeah, John Russell go. If
He might score, you know. You might. John Russell, it's not far fetched for him to score the decisive goal.
It's not
Not
far-fetched.
far-fetched.
If it's Tafari Chambers and put in goal, whoa, on the day, go Tafari Chambers. I don't expect that still, but I'm not showing you. I'm just making a point. Like, and match day, I'm in supporter mode, man. And match day, I don't really put on my fan cap. I think I wear a different cap. This is my fan cap, people. See it? It's my fan cap for today.
No, I think you're right. I think obviously it's I don't think there's anything wrong with having constructive criticism, but players and the gaffer and his coaching staff, they have to understand, like, we love the game just as much as they love the game, and if you're not giving us anything positive, then don't expect a positive reaction from us. I think we can both agree that we're going to align our feelings so that it matches whatever you're giving us, you know. I think I speak for both of you that when they give us a positive performance, we don't turn it into something negative. Obviously, you will have some fans that, irrespective of who we play, even if we beat Bermuda, it's the case of, but it's just Bermuda. Whereas I think it's safe to say that you and I are like that. So, you know, best of luck to them for Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll be saying finally we're back at the World Cup. Oh my God! Wow.
Hopefully. And
So
and,
what?
and and I'm trying to just be one track minded, as I said earlier, where I know that there is a scenario that the second place team will be going to playoff, but we don't want to be the second place
We
team.
don't want to go. No, I don't
Let
want.
Curious worry about that. We don't want to
Perhaps
be that.
I will, but I don't want to go to a dogfight. That's like different type of pit bulls from all over the world. I don't want to do that, King. I don't want to do that now. They're ready to bite your ankles off. I'm not trying to be part of that. I'm not
No, definitely not.
want that.
Definitely not.
I want that.
Yeah.
But are you looking for the rest of the evening? Are you going to be doing a show?
Yeah, I think I'll be doing the Lateness is Greatness podcast. I need to name it the Lateness is Greatness podcast. I think I'll probably start about 2 hours time. I'm gonna take a nap. You
Yeah,
see, now is where I need to take a nap. I'm gonna take a nap and get up. Hopefully, I get up about 10 o'clock and I'll pull up the live. But yeah, I'll take a nap and pull up the live.
I'll see if I'm going to be up by then. It's what? It's
Crystal,
one.
get some rest, man. Get some rest. It's okay. Get some. If you're up, you're up. But get some rest. It's fine.
If I am up, then I'll definitely jump on, because it's gonna probably take me a while to unwind and finally get some rest. So if I'm up, then I'll jump on the live stream. But yeah, definitely thank you for like blessing me with your time popping by. I know that you're on a busy evening, so thank you so much for jumping on the live stream, and we'll probably do another one like before the Curacao game as well.
Yeah, Crystal, I'm here, man. It's the tribe.
Please support.
It's a tribe. It's a tribe, Crystal. So yeah, and
Love
you
that.
see the vibe is nice. When I'm on it, when I come over Talawa, it's a different king. I don't know why. When I'm over here, I'm flowing, man. Because it's not my show and I don't have to moderate. It's when I don't have to moderate, I'm a different person. I
Yeah,
think I need
I
to come
prefer
over.
to be a guest than to be the host. I don't like being the host. I love being the guest. When you're the host, it's just different. It's so boring. I prefer to be a guest.
I think that
I'm
is
better
it.
as a guest than a host. Like, I think different when I'm a guest than when I'm a host. Don't like being the host, but it's
Yeah,
what
I
it is,
think
isn't
that
it?
is it. I think that is it.
Yeah, it's what
But yeah,
it is.
Crystal, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. It is a pleasure to always be here, people, Talawa TV. And people, you will see, we'll be here putting in the work. You're going to see we're putting in the work, people. Listen.
100%. So make sure, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Ball Pre TV. He's going to be doing a live show in about 2 hours time. So do keep your eyes on his channel for that. And even if you don't manage to catch up on it, try to watch that one back on the replay. If you're a supporter of my channel, then I want you to go ahead and extend that support over to Ball Pre TV channel as well. The edit boss is probably going to drop a video tomorrow morning. He usually drops his video around lunchtime, my time.
Yeah, Nicardo, man, Nicardo, him there. Oh,
Yeah,
it was his birthday yesterday.
yes, he was. I said to him, I was like, "Oh, you're a Scorpio like myself." I was just like, "All right." guys. It was his birthday, so yeah. He seemed like
Yeah.
he had a lovely birthday. God
It
bless him. He
seems,
didn't
it
get
seems that way. It seems that way.
bless
Too
him. He
much
didn't get
fun.
favorites. But yeah, it was a good birthday for him. So long may it continue. Right, let me let you go ahead and do your thing, King. I'm going to close off. Is no King is a Liverpool fan. He's definitely not an Arsenal fan. He's Liverpool. Nakada is Man United. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're not Arsenal fans.
All over the way. But Crystal, thanks for having me. Big up yourself to everybody in the chat. Big up yourself, people in the like, share, and subscribe. From there and not subscribe yet to both Talawa TV, Ballpree TV. Me no know one of the people to hit the like button. Is me and Crystal take it out. It's a pleasure for having me over here, man.
Thank you. Before I go, guys, I want to say thank you to you guys in the comment section for helping me to meet my target for the year. For the year, I kind of moved the goalpost. I wanted like 5,000 subscribers this year. And in the summer, you guys gave me 5,000. So hence having to move the goalpost. And I moved it to 10,000 subscribers before the year concludes. And you guys have gone ahead and hit that target for me. So thank you for taking me to 10,000 subscribers. I could not have done it without you guys. Next up, I have my eyes firmly fixed on 15,000 subscribers. That's for next year. I don't know. I haven't really given myself a date yet. Like maybe I should come up with a month and work towards that particular month. But the new target now between now and next year, again, I'm going to have to come up with a month is to hit that 15,000 subscribers. But thank you for taking me to 10,000 subscribers. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. Thank you for helping me to grow my channel over the years. Long may it continue. It's been a hard battle. Thank you to you guys in the comment section. I can't name you all because I will forget some people. Each and every person that's helped me to build my channel to where it is. Thank you so much. I'm not going to attempt to name everyone because I know I'm going to forget someone, and I don't want to do that because it might come across as being a little bit disrespectful or ungrateful. So I'm not going to attempt to do that because I know I'm definitely going to forget someone unintentionally. So again, thank you guys so much for taking me to 10,000 subscribers. If I don't see you between now and the closing of the weekend, I do hope that you have a smashing weekend. If you're watching this one back on replay and you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're making your way home from work, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed. And as I said, have a lovely weekend and also have a smashing week when that dreaded Monday morning comes. Headline reads for itself: Trinidad and Tobago 1, Jamaica 1. Massive showdown in Kingston, Jamaica this coming Tuesday. We have one last chance for a direct qualification at next summer's FIFA Men's World Cup. Will we do it? I think we can. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. Best of luck to Steve McLaren and his boys in the famous black, gold, and green. One last dance at the National Stadium, and I am firmly believing that you guys can go ahead and make the nation smile, not just in Jamaica, but across the diaspora. Good luck to each and every one of you. And you know how it goes. Until next time, take care. We built this out of love, out of pride, shining a light from the island to the diaspora to the world. A golden beacon of sports, music, and everything in between. The very best of Jamaica. We're little, but we're Talawa.